Let's start with the Mangalachan. Hare Krishna everyone. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yen Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganda Gunathan Vitimam Tan Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagandalita Shri Vishakanvitamsha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णविष्णुपुतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे okay so we will go directly we did till 16 17 sloka right yesterday so let's start from there itself. Okay, we will started the part of understanding karma on the platform of jnana. So we are into the crux of the karma yoga. The what is karma yoga, and what kinds of karma are there? Karma, vikarma, and akarma. The karma which is as per the prescribed duties. Mentioned in the release scriptures, and one which is doing as per as well as vikarma, you're not following the prescribed duties, and akarma is not attached to the karmic activity is not attached to the reactions. He is only doing as per the supreme will, and he is basically free from the cycle of birth and death. Right, that is akarma. So we did this two shlokas, and we then we come to the conclusion of vikarmis, karmis, and akarmis. Okay. So Vikarmis are basically who don't follow the Vedas, and they are basically there is a risk of clear cut risk of being degraded to lower species if not enough pious activity done, and not appreciated by the saintly people, and they defeat the purpose of life. Right, the purpose of life is to attain self-relation, to attain God, have God relation, and go back to Godhead. But the purpose of life, the ultimate purpose of life, is defeated in this Vikarmi cycle, right? They are only into the sense gratification process, right? Those are the Vikarmis. One who follows the Vedas and attain, do pious activities, they attain the Swargas, the bodies of the demigod, they get eventually return to the again to the Matyu Loka, because all the 14 lokas are Brahma Bhuvana Loka, Punaravarti Arjuna, right? From the highest planet of the Brahma to the lowest planet, all are places of places of miseries where repeated birth and death takes place, right? This is mentioned in the seventh chapter, right? Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punarabhati Arjuna, right? So these are places of miseries, all the 14 places, right? All the 14 places of misery because of the cycle of birth and death, right? Because in Swarga also it will happen. So eventually when we'll come to again to the Mrityu Loka, and again then there are akarmis like Narad Muni have come to the platform of devotion service to Krishna, right? They're totally into the platform devotion service. Their mind, their karma, everything is related only in related to the related to satisfy the senses of the Lord. That is devotion service, and no fruitive activity binds and means rebirth. Right? They know that if you do some fruitive activities, if you get entangled in them, then it will bind you to the rebirth, right? 4.18 कर्मणि अकर्मणया पाश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्मया सा बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु सा युक्ता च कृष्ण कस्मात् कृत हरे कृष्णा
Hare
translation.
Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So here in the platform of akarma, the guna of akarma is revealed that by Krishna himself, that one who sees inaction in inaction, right? Where he is doing action, but it is not for himself. He is not entangled by that action, right? That is inaction in action, and action in inaction is action. He is still doing some action, right? But it is it is rather an inaction, right? The action in action is, it is an inaction, a karma, because it is not binding to the fruits of results. So that is, he is doing the work. It can be seen from the from the material perspective. You can see that he is doing some work in devotional service also. He is doing some work. He is doing some things in the temple, right? Some things are action is being done, but that is an action, right? It's intelligent among the men, right? So one needs to see that what is action in action, in action in action, and he is in the transcendental position, right? He is in the trans. He can see that what is an action, what is action, right? And although engaged in all sorts of activities. So all sorts of activities are being done, but only dovetailed to the service of the Lord, right? Everything dovetailed to the service of the Lord, then you will be doing the action, but it will be an action because the attitude will be changed, right? So action in an action will be there. So Krishna conscious person is intelligent as though he is engaged in all sorts of activity. He does not enjoy suffer any of the effect of the work, right? If someone is serving, Krishna, for which he needs to go some places in order to, to order to preach or everything, anything like that. But he does not entangled by the dual, dual nature of the material activities, right? That is the sort of activity he's engaged, but only for preaching purpose, only to sing the glories of the Lord, right? It will be seen that he is doing all sorts of activities, but he does not enjoy because no reactions are binding, because he is doing it in Krishna conscious, right? So one in Krishna consciousness is free from bonds of karma, as all his activities are performed for Krishna, right? A karma means without a reaction to work. No reaction to work will come, right? The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, because what does impersonal monist philosophy does? They ceases fruitive activities. They say that okay, any activity I am doing will be, some sort of binding will be there, some sort of cycle of birth and rebirth will take place. Impersonalist has that attitude, right? Because they thought the fruitive activities, out of fear they abandon it. Now they abandon it and they go away, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization, because they are basically concerned with only brahmajyoti. They don't want to do anything. So that is, that is a different kind of an action, right? A personalist aware that he is the internal servitor of the, so a personalist is eternal servitor of the supreme personality godhead, engages himself in Krishna conscious activities, right? Day-to-day activities are only for the Krishna consciousness, right? So that is the personalist what it does. So as everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys transcendental happiness, right? All the things are which are being doing by all sorts of activities, all kind of senses even he is engaging, is for the enjoyment of the Krishna. So it comes, and there comes a transcendental happiness, right? For doing it as a service, not for himself. So he is immune to all the reaction, right? He is cooking for the Lord. He is, worshipping the Lord. He is bringing the flowers for the Lord. He is doing anything. He is earning anything for the Lord, right? To take care of the Lord, to take care of his devotees, right? For all the things he has devoted everything in his life to, for doing, so what, elevating himself Krishna conscious activity. So action in action is, in spirituality, one is supposed to be doing nothing, right? Action in an action, inaction is doing nothing, but in spirituality, right? And inaction are non-Krishna conscious karmi, right? Karmi is basically inaction in action, right? There is inaction in action. Hare Krishna. So 4.90. Yasya sarve samarrambha kama sankalpa varjitah jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamaho panditam buddha. Hare Krishna. Translation, anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, who is in full knowledge? Whose endeavor is devoid of or of desire of all sense gratification, right? Because, anna abhilashita shunyam, right? In the Chaitanya, Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is mentioned, Anyablishat Shunyam, that, one who is a pure devotee, whose desires are, zero. Who desires is zero, it has, no desires are there. No desires are there. No desires of monist philosophy is there. No desires of fruitive action is there. So that is a pure devotee, sir. So one is in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. His sense gratification is zero, right? He said, but no desire also is not there, right? He's said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect. Because if you are get pure by the Krishna consciousness, you have Krishna consciousness, that nothing, no reactions will come, no reactions will come, because it will burn like fire. It will burn like fire, right? All the reactions that are coming, because he will equipose, hot and cold. He is devoid of hot and cold. He will be devoid of everything of happiness and distress. He will be equipoised, right? So since he is equipoised, so any reaction that is coming, so it is all getting burned up, right? It is all getting burned up. He will assume that, okay, this is the mercy of the Lord, this is the mercy of the Lord, which is coming very less, like one time, Srila Prabhupada's hand was, a little bit cut, right? So that his finger was cut by the, one devotee was there, devotee's finger was cut, so what he said, that okay, today, today it is the mercy of the Lord, today your hand was has to be cut, but only a little finger has been cut. So this is the, this is the attitude of a, devotee, that okay, this everything that is coming, already it is coming in very less minute quantity, right? Very, very minute quantity, just to kill your reactions, right? Actual reactions, it is not and anything happiness is coming is the mercy of the Lord himself, right? It is the mercy that, okay, it is making capable for you to have, a comfortable life for, having, for developing Krishna consciousness only. So he is also thankful for that also, right? त्यक्त्वा कर्म फल संगम नित्यतृप्तो निराशयः कर्मणि अभिप्रावृत्तोऽपि नैव किंचित् करोति सः. हरे कृष्ण माता जी. anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता.
Abandoning all attachments to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So action in action in action is given here. The abandoning, spiritual activity is given here. That abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities. Right? He doesn't, he doesn't care that what the result will be good and will be bad. He will just, he will just do the service, do the service to the Lord, and he will not care. Everything is in control. The Supreme Lord is in, full control of everything. So he will be ever satisfied and independent. Right? Independent, he performs no fruitive action. What he is independent of? Independent of the sense gratification, right? He does not he is not dependent on his senses, right? If he wants to eat something, no desire is there, so he is independent of the senses, no desires are coming out of his senses. So that is actual independent, right? It is not the independence that we think, becoming, you earn something and you say that we are independent. No, we are not at all independent, which are just earning, right? Because the disease will come, sense gratification will be there, the senses will try to enjoy. So that is not dependent. You are dependent on the senses, right? One is trying to have doing some intoxication, he is dependent basically on the senses, right? Addiction, what is the addiction? It is a dependency on the senses only, right? It is not independence. So independence is one person who does not depend on his senses. So independent, right? Ever satisfied and independent, right? He performs no fruitive action. He performs no fruitive action. He does not know that what will the result, good or bad. Everything is satisfied, right? Although engage in all kinds of undertakings. He will be engaged in all kind of undertakings for the Krishna consciousness, right? So this is the person. This is the person who is akarma, who is established in akarma. So Arjuna is being told, be a karma, right? Be a akarma, right? Sir, you be a spiritual person, right? Do inaction, do inaction in action, right? The Krishna conscious reactions of Krishna conscious person's work are burned by his perfect knowledge, because he knows, Anna Visha Shunyam, that is, he is the eternal servant of the Lord. He is fundamental position that he is the eternal servant of the Lord. So everything, all the work, all the reactions are burned. So this knowledge is compared to fire that burns up all kinds of reaction to work. He is rid of sense gratificatory propensities. No propensity will come. Thus, freedom from bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness, whereas he has no attraction for the results of the action, right? One is not doing spiritual activity or doing the Hare, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or not taking up the process of Krishna consciousness, then he will not be getting rid of the sense gratificatory propensities, right? So one has to do some this, right? Because it is transcendental, right? So we need to, we need to take this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and, keep doing Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that, all the reactions, all the reactions go, and we become independent of our senses, right? We purify our senses. Basically, we need to purify our senses, right? So for personal maintenance too, he surrenders to Krishna, right? For the personal maintenance, that okay, for my food activities, for everything, I am totally surrendered. So this is the perfect example, pure devotee, right? Is neither the interested to secure things, not to protect the things he already has, right? Srila Prabhupada, abandoned all his business and went to, and America at the age of 69, and, with 40 rupees with him, who will think that, who will take care of his personal maintenance? The lady, which basically the Mataji, which sponsored his cargo ship transportation from from India, from Mumbai to America, even said that it is too tough at this age, still he said, okay, God will take care, right? And God will take care. It was difficult to survive. So personal maintenance also is surrendered to the Krishna. Personal maintenance. So he had 2 times heart attack in the ship also, but due to the grace of the mercy of the Lord, he's a pure devotee. So what happened, even material things were taken care of, right? So it's not like that one stops to not take care of the material things. It is for the pure devotee. Even though he was a pure devotee, one time what happened, his finger was cut. So what happened, due to the sugar levels and all, it was not recovering, right? It was not recovering. So he said to his devotee, okay, bring some penicillin. I need to I need to take the penicillin, so that it gets recovered, right? So then the devotee asked that, you are a pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee, then how come, Krishna is not, rectified the heel? So he said that, the God only helps him, only those who helps themselves. So we need to take care of ourselves. The luck factor is coming from the God, right? So he has sent that he has helped. He said that he has helped. He sent the doctor he said, send the doctor to, to give me penicillin, and, ultimately I recovered. So he sends his messenger. He sends his messenger through it, because he directly don't come. We are not eligible. So he sends someone. He sends someone, and it is taken care of. So it is like that. The attitude should be like this, right? So does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna, right? He leaves everything to Krishna and does his, at best, right? Whatever honest labor, he abandons everything. Whatever honest labor he earns, so he honest labor he earns by that, and continue doing everything as a Krishna conscious. Whatever, some work has to be done for this body. So such a person will do some activity also in the material world, and from the honest labor for whatever he earns, and he keep for just to maintain his body, he does that, and and leave everything to Krishna. So such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad, as though he was not doing anything. This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions, right? So any non-Krishna conscious action is vikarma, right? Binding upon the worker to the result. Anything other than this will be vikarma, right? This freedom from the bondage of action is possible only in Krishna consciousness, when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of action, right? He has just pure love for Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna, right? Nor is he anxious to secure things, right? So these are the examples, right? 4.2 निराश्रियत चित्तमा त्यक्त्वा तैर्सर्वपरिग्रह शरीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Hare Krishna. Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Such such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all senses of its proprietorship over possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, walking, he is not affected by influence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So such kind of akarma person, what does he understanding acts with mind intelligence perfectly controlled. His mind intelligence is perfectly controlled. He gives up all sense of proprietorship, because what does Vikarmi does or Karmi does? He has a sense of proprietorship. So he thinks that this is my house, this is my mobile, this is my laptop, this is my wife, this is my children. He thinks like that. This is my office, this is my this is this is my money, right? This all sense proprietorship over the possessions will be there with karmi, right? So for such a, but for akarma it's not like that, because his mind is in control, right? His intelligence is in control, and acts only for the bare necessities. So whatever it is necessary is only will be acted. That whatever Goswamis, whatever they get in the offerings, and whatever they get in the charity, right? That only they used to take, right? That only they used to take after offering to the Lord, right? So this is the bare necessity. Whatever is necessary, Such a person does that. So thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions, right? No sinful reaction will come in such a state, right? Because you are doing just for your bare necessity, right? For the bare necessity you are doing anything, not for the you're not for the greed, not for the for the greed for acquiring something, for having some possession, not for that, just for the bare necessities, so that you can continue your self-realization. So one, if want to continue self-realization and only take care of the bare necessity, that is enough. Yadracha labha santushto dvandvito vimatsharah samasiddhava siddhau cha kratva pina nibhadyate. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled although performing actions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now the symptoms of the symptoms of how he is acting, that we learned in the third chapter, right? Sthitadir Muni, about who is the Sthitadir Muni, right? So here also akarma, how the person who is an akarma, how he acts, right? Who is satisfied with gain which comes with of its own accord, right? That whatever is coming, it is automatically comes. So who is free from duality and does not envy. He is involved in the material activities, but he is free from dualities, right? He is giving his sangha, but he is not taking the sangha of the karmis, right? He will give his sangha, but they're not taking the sangha of karmi, right? And he will be involved in material activities and does not envy, right? He will not be envying anyone because he knows the Paramatma is in everyone, right? So he study in both success and failure. Whatever success is there, he is not happy. Whatever failure is there, he is not demiseful, right? With that, so he is not sad with that. So he is equipoised. He is never entangled, although performing actions, right? All kind of actions will be done, but he will be equipoised in success and failure, in happiness and distress, right? So Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind intelligence is fully controlled. He knows that because he's basically the part and parcel of the supreme, right? The part played by him as the part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but he is only being done through him by the supreme. For example, if someone opens the door, then a hand basically opens the door, but we don't tell that okay, my hand has opened the door. We tell that I have opened the door. Similarly, the Supreme Lord has doing through us, right? Supreme Lord has been doing through us. So when the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. Similarly, the Supreme Will is the Supreme, right? It is being done by the Lord. Sarva Karana Karanam, right? A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the Supreme desire, right? He is always in the Supreme. What is the Supreme desire, right? For which one needs to have a spiritual master, for which one needs to have basically the knowledge about the Vedas, that what it desires. So supreme desires is mentioned in the Vedas. Supreme desires is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, right? He tells everything in this, and if we follow that, then the Krishna, that is the Krishna consciousness. For he has no desire for personal satisfaction, right? He moves exactly like a part and part of a machine, right? As a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance, so Krishna conscious maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in transcendental loving service of the God. Whatever activity he is doing, some yoga is, suppose he is doing, right? It is not related, is not related to the Krishna conscious, right? But he is doing some yoga, right? He is doing some some gymming activity or some running activity, some cardio, suppose some does. Why he does so? Just to maintain the body, because a machine part requires some oiling and cleaning for maintenance, right? So it is the example. So Krishna conscious mind maintains himself by his work just to remain. So he does some labor, he does just to maintain his body, right? Just to maintain his body in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, right? So he is therefore immune to all reactions of his endeavors. No reaction will come in that. So like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body, right? A cruel proprietor of the animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, right? A cruel proprietor, what he will do? Suppose someone eats non-veg, he will bring some animal, then he will kill that animal in his possession. Yet the animal does not protest, right? Does not protest, right? So similarly, like the animal, he has no, he has no claim also. He has no claim over his body also, nor does it have any real independence, right? So it is like, so for maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money, right? For body and soul, It is not required, sir, but unfair means it is not required, right? He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reaction to his actions, right? He is satisfied with gains, which are obtained of their own accord, automatically, which are coming. He is satisfied. A Krishna conscious person does not make such endeavor even to maintain his body, right? He neither begs nor borrows, is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. Whatever honest labor he is doing, he gets by that. So therefore, independent in his livelihood. He does not get affected by anyone's intrusion in his own service in Krishna consciousness. Does not allow any duality of the material world like heat or cold, misery or happiness, right? To obstruct his service to the Lord, steady both in success and failure, right? The duality of the material world is not affected. The steadiness is there. The signs are visible only when one is in fully in transcendental knowledge, right? These are the things you can gauge, right? One can gauge basically if you are, getting bewildered by heat and cold, then we are not there. If you are getting bewildered by the misery or happiness, we are not there. If you are not steady in the success and failure, we are not there, right? So we need to, become once you become this being transcendental, then these effects will be showing in with you also, right? Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmamagao Brahmanahutam. Okay, I will start from here actually. This is the slogan. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasa yagnachartha karma samagram praviliyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
The work of a man who is unattached to the moods of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, for how to become transcendent to the material modes of nature, it is mentioned here. Who is unattached to the modes of nature. One should be unattached, follow the karma path, and who is fully situated in transcendent knowledge. Transcendent knowledge is what? That we are the eternal servitor of the Lord. That Supreme Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead, right? We are part and parcel of Him. We need to serve Him. So, this is the transcendental knowledge, right? He merges entirely into the transcendence, right? So, this is being mentioned here. Fourth one. Brahmarpanam Brahmahave Brahmagno Brahma Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Kantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual freedom because of his full contribution to spiritual activity, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, again, Brahman, again, Brahma is given here. That Brahman is given. The person who is absorbed in Krishna consciousness, sure to attain spiritual kingdom, right? Spiritual kingdom. Spiritual kingdom Vaikuntha Goloka Vrindavan because of his full contribution spiritual activities. You are doing everything as a spiritual activity, then what will happen? You will be in the spiritual world because you are basically doing everything. The consciousness which has developed is a godly consciousness, right? So ultimately since you are doing all the spiritual activity, you are serving the Lord only. So you have practiced it, right? For a Kshatriya, what he does, he practice like he practice the bow and arrow, archership, various battle, warfare and everything he practice. Then he attains, he goes to the battle and he fight, right? Similarly, a Brahmana, Satuguna, Vaishnava, what he does, Vaishnava does the service, Krishna conscious services. So he is practicing. So what your consciousness will develop like? Your consciousness will develop to serve the Lord. Once the consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, is developed as to serve the Lord, where you will go? Definitely there only, because you will have the desire, okay, I will keep servicing. So if you want to keep serving, that okay, come to me, right? Come to me, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature, right? Same spiritual, same activity you will be doing there and personally you will be doing there. So such a person is said to be Krishna conscious, right? Is freed from the all dualities and contamination of the material modes, right? Knowing his constitutional relationship with Krishna, his mind is undivided from Krishna, right? If one knows that I am part and parcel of Krishna only, right? He is the father, he is the Father, I have to serve him, right? We are the eternal servitor, eternal servitor. This is my constitutional position. Then he will be undivided, right? Ultimately, I have to do this now or in the future. Ultimately, one has to do that only. So he will know. He is knowing that okay, this is his constitutional position. This is his fundamental position. He has to do anyways. He has to do someday this only. So he will be equipoised. So whatever he does for Krishna. Yeah, yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat tapa, Jat Joshi Dadashi Yadet. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away in charity. Yat tapasya kaunteya, whatever you tapasya, whatever austerity you perform, tat kurushvama darpanam. Right? Do that as an offering to me. That Krishna tells that. Krishna tells that. Whatever you do or whatever doing, whatever you're eating, do as an offering to Krishna only. Right? So that that activity will be Krishna conscious activity. So all his works technically become sacrifices, as every sacrifice is satisfying Vishnu and Krishna. Right? So all sacrifices will be leading to Vishnu only. The resultant reaction to all such works certainly merge into transcendence and liberation. Right? So a conditioned soul is entangled in material contamination, can get out of the material atmosphere only through Krishna consciousness, right? So Krishna consciousness is the only thing, right, through which we can get out of the material contamination. Because we are conditioned souls, we are conditioned souls, our senses are not in our control. To do that, to keep in control, we need to become Krishna consciousness. For that, we need to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and follow four regulative principles, right? A patient suffering from overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curds, right? So similar example is there, an analogy is given here that a person, basically suffering from overindulgence of the milk products, someone has taken, basically a lot of paneer. So which indigestion is there, right? So what the medicine will be given? Another milk product only. The curds will only be given, right? The curds will only be given. Sorry, we are already the Paramatma is, someone will say the Paramatma is residing there. Already one is, it is already pure, it is inside there. But what has happened? There is, overindulgence, overindulgence of the, material contamination has been done, right? It is also Krishna, it is also belongs to Krishna. All things are there. But another milk product is Krishna consciousness, right? So everything belongs to the Lord only. But overindulgence in the material activities has resulted in our conditioning, due to which we need some Krishna conscious activity. So Brahman means spiritual. We need the spiritual world, right? So Brahma Jyotir is the Lord's spiritual effulgence, right? When the Jyoti is covered by illusion, Maya, or sense gratification, it is called material, right? So this material veil can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness, right? Because inside it, what is there? If you remove the veil, the Jyoti you will remove, then you will see Krishna himself. The mind fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be samadhi, right? Trance, right? Fully absorbed, you can experience the samadhi here itself. So anything done in such trance is called yagna, or sacrifice for the absolute. So working on one account and working on a God's account, the example is given. A cashier, working on a cashier receives or issues lakhs of behalf on behalf of bank. The moment he seals a penny, he's arrested, right? Because if he is doing on the, it is on the, bank's owner account, right? The bank's owner account, because everything is given, but it is not belongs to him, right? So it is belong to the bank owner. Similarly, so everything belongs to the Lord. If you steal, if it is steal, then you will incur sin on it. So he gets arrested, right? A soldier killing people in army is awarded Paramir Chakra, right? Because he is not doing as per the, as per the will of the, general of the army, right? He as the supreme, commander of the army. He is acting as per his, right? He's been instated with the, duty to do that, right? To kill that person, because as per the instruction. So he will get the Paramir Chakra. But if he kills his neighbor, this military person only, if he go and kills his own neighbor, he is in the duty only, and he kills his own person, but he will get arrested. Why? Because it was not order, it was not ordered. So no order is there, so that will be a punishment, right? So similarly, one acting is on account or God's account, one needs to check that, right? So Arjuna fighting for Dharma Yuddha on behalf of God, right? So no reaction will come, right? Because it is the order of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Duryodhana fighting for his own selfish plan. What is his selfish plan? To acquire, have proprietorship of the kingdom. That too he had promised, and again going against the Dharma, right? So that is, selfish plan is there. Unwinding and winding spool of a tape recorder, right? That is another example, I guess. Section 4, okay. 4.2 by 33, we will now start the sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. Right? What sacrifices lead to? Basically, transcendental knowledge. Fruits of all kinds of Vedic sacrifices is transcendental knowledge. And whatever Vedic sacrifices there, fruits, it is transcendental. This leads to liberation and ultimately to pure devotion service. One is not getting directly devotion service, so he will follow the Vedic, scriptures. By the Vedic sacrifices, what will happen? Ultimately come to the pure devotion service part. So where varieties of sacrifices, basically leads to transcendental knowledge are mentioned here. For example, demigod worship is there. Sacrifices to the Brahman is given. Brahman is given. Hearing process senses in the fire of mental control. The unadulterated, brahmacharis do that. Objects of senses and fires of senses. Regulated grasas, right? Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali Yoga system, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, right? These are the, these are Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali offers the function of all the senses of life, breath as obligations into the fire of the controlled mind. Right? The prana, pranayam, all these things are basically mentioned here. Goal is merging into existence of the absolute. They think that everything is, everything is void, everything is supreme effulgence only. Then one needs to merge into that. And charity, Dravyam Jagna, study examples, right? Charitable institutions, old age homes, etc. Right? These are dharmamyam. Basically, manav seva, right? Charitable institution, charity you are doing. What kind of charity you are doing? Austerity, tapasya, tapomaya yagna, right? Chaturmasya, chandrayana. Various, various austerity. One takes the tough austerities of taking fasting. All this fasting we do. In order to remember more the Lord, right? More we remember in order to decrease our activity of cooking food and eating and increase our activity in Krishna consciousness. Austerity is performed. Yoga yagna, right? Sacrifice for a certain perfection in material world, right? For some siddhis, to do that. So Patanjali system for merging into the existence into absolute. Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga system, right? For particular perfection, right? Pranavayu is basically elevated, and these yoga systems are there. Holy pilgrimage, going to the holy pilgrimage, right? These are yoga yagna. Study of scriptures, Swadhyaya yogana, right? Pathan and Patan, right? Basically, studying the scriptures, right? So Upanishads and Vedanta Sutras or Sankhya philosophy, all this comes in 4.2 with, and in the 4.2 the some detailed description on the Hatha Yoga and Pranayama. So these are the various, various of varieties of sacrifice, which basically is transcendental knowledge. These all are transcendental knowledge. You can all realize it. These are all practical, and these are all relations, right? So 4.25. Devam pare yagnam yogina parupashyate brahmagnam apare yagnam yagnaivo pajuvavati. Hare Krishna. Translation anyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Some
Krishna.
yogis perfectly worship the demigods. Demigods by worshipping different sacrifices to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the demigod worship basically lead to the basically to devtas only, right? Yanti deva vrita devan pitra yanti pitravata, right? Those who worship the demigods goes to demigods. Those who worship the pitra, they will go to the pitra. Bhutani yani bhutegya. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will live among them, right? Yanti mad yaginopinam. Those who worship me, Krishna tells that will come and live with me, right? So those who some yogis they perfectly worship demigods, right? By offering different sacrifice to them, well, different kinds of yoga that is mentioned. And some offer sacrifices in fire of Supreme Brahman, right? So here, Krishna is saying that sacrifice means to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is also known as Yagna, known as Yagna, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, right? He is the benefactor of all the yagnas, right? So one needs to ultimately satisfy the only Vishnu, not Krishna, right? Even if one is satisfying demigods by them, only Vishnu is getting satisfied because all the powers are given to the demigods are by the will of the Vishnu only, by the will of the Supreme Lord Krishna only. So all the different varieties of sacrifice can be placed within two primary divisions, right? Namely, sacrifice of worldly possessions, right? For worldly possession one needs, and sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. One is seeking either material possessions or either seeking transcendental knowledge. So two primary divisions is there, right? And one who is in Krishna consciousness, those who are in Krishna consciousness, sacrifice all material possessions for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, right? He doesn't want anything. He only wants anything if it is for the service of the Lord. While others who want some temporary material happiness sacrifice their material possessions to satisfy demigods such as Indra, the sun god, etc. Right? They give something. Okay, I give the to the Indra, to the sun god. We give some gives some gel, some fruits, some there for the material possessions, not for the transcendental emotions, right? That is a different thing. That is not a Krishna conscious person. So, and others who are impersonalists, right? For impersonalists, the monist philosophy, the Mayavads, sacrifice their identity by merging into the existence of personal Brahman. They are basically doing a spiritual suicide. What they are sacrificing, their own identity, their own individuality is being sacrificed. They think that I am nothing. I am not have any. I am not an individual. Rather everything will be merged. This identity is it will be merged into the supreme Brahman, right? Impersonal Brahman. The demigods are powerful living entities appointed by the Supreme Lord, right, for the maintenance and supervision of all material functions like heating, watering, right, when there is watering, the lighting of the universe, right, everything. The sun god is there, moon god is there. Those who are interested in material benefits worship the demigods, right? Those who want the material benefits, they will go to the Yanti Deva Vratadevan by various sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals, right? Devam eva pareyagnam. Okay, same. They are called Bhava Ishvara Vadi or believers in many gods, right? So they are basically what? Believers of many, multi god. They are, they are basically believing. They are not thinking that okay, there is only one supreme. No, the supreme, any no demigod can be equal to the supreme lord, right? Because then the whole purpose is defeated of the supreme person, right? But others who worship the impersonal feature of the absolute truth and regard the forms of demigods as temporary sacrifice their individual selves in the supreme fire. Right? Their individuality is sacrificed and thus end their individual existence by merging into the existence of the supreme. That is also arranged by the supreme, right? Supreme effulgence is there and it is arranged for the impersonate. Okay, you go and merge there. That is what you want. That is what is your desire. Okay, go there. So so sacrifice their time in philosophical speculation, understand the transcendental nature of the supreme, right? Some philosophical speculation is there. In other words, the fruitive workers sacrifice their material portions for material enjoyment, right? Whatever they are sacrificing is just for the material enjoyment, right? Whereas the impersonalist sacrifices his material designations with a view to merging into existence of the supreme. For the impersonalist, the fire altar of sacrifice is supreme Brahman, right? Where he is sacrificing the supreme Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, right? And offering is the self being consumed by the fire of Brahman. The Krishna conscious person like Arjuna, however, sacrifices everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, right? He said in the beginning also, I don't want the three worlds also for this war. This much he is satisfied already. He has sacrificed even even in the starting on the bewilderment and the doubt only, for just to not occur any self reaction or no enjoyment, right? He said that I don't even want the three worlds, right? Just to because I will kill everyone. So he's at that stage that he will sacrifice everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, right? Now he will it's for the satisfaction of Krishna. He will sacrifice, he will sacrifice. He will learn that okay, this is this transcendental knowledge, and thus all this material positions as well as his own self, everything is sacrificed for Krishna, right? So sacrifice means to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Sacrifice can play two primary divisions. One is material and another is transcendental. Those who are Krishna consciousness, they sacrifice all material portions for satisfaction of Supreme Lord. And those who want some temporary happiness, material happiness, they basically satisfy demigods. So impersonalists sacrifice the identity, right? We learned by the impersonalists. Regarding impersonalists, we learned that they are sacrificing the individuality. We learned about the karmis who are basically sacrificing for the material positions, right? And they basically worship the demigods. And there are Krishna conscious persons who sacrifice all material portion to satisfy the Lord, right? To satisfy the Supreme Lord. And rather, we basically one needs to sacrifice to the Vishnu only. So various primary divisions are given here. There's sacrifice of worldly positions and sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. Right, two types of things can be done. One, demigod worshippers are sacrificed for material enjoyment. Bahu Ishwaravadi, they worship demigods for various material benefits. Impersonalists, they sacrifice individuality. They regard demigods as temporary. They regard as forms of demigods temporary. Sacrifice their material designations and their individual existence, merge into ultimate goal. What is the resultant of that? They merge, right? Sacrifice their time in philosophical speculation, right? How their time is sacrificed throughout is their life, how they try to cultivate philosophical knowledge, right? Philosophical speculation is all going on in the dhyana yoga part, right? Sorry. And Krishna conscious devotee is a perfect devotee, right? He is a yogi nam api sarva nam sarva nam madgatenandra atmana. So he is the best of all, right? Sacrifices all material possessions and own self for Krishna's satisfaction, right? He sacrifices own self for Krishna's satisfaction. Arjuna, for example, given here, Arjuna sacrifices everything for satisfaction of Krishna, right? First class yogi without losing his existence. His individuality is also not lost, and he sacrifices everything, right? Aim of sacrifice is one, but variety is different superficially, right? So factual aim is of all sacrifice is to satisfy, Supreme Lord. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam. He himself is saying, Krishna himself is saying, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam. So different categories of sacrifice with different types of performance, only superficially demark the varieties. So what is, how happiness without, what is happiness without sacrifice? There, without sacrifice, will there be happiness? Tapal, Lord Brahma. All sacrifice must be performed with the knowledge of their purpose and goal. What is your purpose? Is your purpose a material existence? Is your purpose a sinful life? Is your purpose ignorance, right? This is all material life, right? Material existence will be, coming out of ignorance, it will lead to the sinful life. Then again material existence will come, then again the ignorance will be there, ignorance will lead to the sinful life, again material existence will come. So this is the material loop, and this is what we are sacrificing, right? श्रोत्रादीनि इन्द्रियाणि अन्ये संयमाग्निषु जुह्वति शब्दादीन् विषयानन्या इन्द्रियाग्निषु जुह्वति. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Some, the unalterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control, and others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So some unrelated brahmacharis, right? They are basic unalloyed devotion, right? What they sacrifice? Hearing process and the senses, right? Where? In the fire of mental control, right? And others who are regulated household, right? Sacrifice the objects of the senses in fire of the senses, right? So both are basically the brahmacharis. Both are how the Krishna conscious person is sacrificing things are being given here, right? How a brahmachari act? He basically hearing and senses process and fire of mental control, right? Mentally he controls it. What senses is controlled mentally, right? No desire is coming, he cuts it with the various with various practice, with various tyag. He does that with the mental control, with the fire of mental control, that he knows that who is the enjoyer, ultimate enjoyer. The supreme lord is the ultimate enjoyer, right? Since he is the ultimate enjoyer, and he is the he is the caretaker, so there is nothing to be enjoyed of, right? Nothing to be take care of enjoying it. Should be no enjoying activity. So this mental control comes from that the peace formula. So hearing process, by hearing the Vedas, by hearing the Vedas, he controls the senses, right? How? By the its fire, right? How the fire is coming from the knowledge. Similarly, the regulated households are what? Grahastha. Then there are two types of householders, right? Unregulated and regulated. Unregulated, Gramedi, basically doing all the activities, fruitive activities for his own self, right? Grasta. Grasta is also doing, activity, but for the Krishna satisfaction. So there is two types of, householders, Gramedi and Grasta. So regulated householders, right? Doing all the activity within the regulative principles norms, right? And doing all, as a sacrifice, the objects of the senses and fire of the senses, right? All the senses are being, involved in the service of the Lord, right? Everything is being involved in the service of the Lord. All the activities are being not engaged within themselves, within their family. Rather, everything activity in the home is being in the householder's home is basically being done for the satisfaction of the Lord, right? This is the object, this is the sacrifice of the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. So members of the, their members, basically there are four members, right? Four members so, of human life, brahmachari, grihastha, vanprastha, sannyasi, all are meant to become perfect yogis or transcendentalists, right? Who is serious and who will follow this path, right? Since human life is not meant for enjoying sense gratification like animals, the four orders of human life are so arranged, right? So that one become perfect in spiritual life. One has to gradually come to the at a stage of Krishna consciousness. So brahmachari students under the care of bona fide spiritual master, they have bona fide spiritual master, right? Control the mind by abstaining from sense gratification. They will practice it, right? They will practice, their parityag will be there. A brahmachari hears only words concerning Krishna consciousness, right? In the Bhagavatam also, when and in the sages of Namisharanya when went there, and Sutta Goswami was telling that, okay, this is the story that he tells that, okay, you tell us the only part, which is concerned to the Krishna. They even don't want to hear that which doesn't concern to the Krishna. Whatever you will tell, please tell only which concerns Krishna. See, they don't want any, philosophical knowledge, nothing. They only are, only concerned with the words concerning Krishna consciousness. So that is the, that is a state of a state of a pure devotee. So therefore the pure brahmachari engages fully in Hare Namanu Kirtanam, right? Chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord only. He restrains himself from the vibrations of material sounds, right? And his hearing is engaged in transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Only this transcendental sound vibration will be his only aim. Similarly, Grahastha householders who have some license for sense gratification, right? Because they are entered, they have some responsibility. So perform such acts with great restraint, right? Where they control their senses. Marriage on the principles of religious life is therefore current in all civilized human society because that is the way of or restricted sex life. This is also kind of yagna because the restricted householder sacrifices his general tendency towards sense gratification for a higher transcendental life. So he will having propensity to enjoy, but since he knows that what is higher, who is the enjoyer, right? Who is, what is what sense gratification at the higher level is their transcendental life. So he will, he will sacrifice that all the things, right? For that, because he knows that who is the ultimate enjoyer. So yeah. Sarvanindriyani karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyam yoga now juvati jnana dipatye. Hare Krishna. Translation anyone?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Others who are interested in achieving self realization through the control of mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as awareness through the controlled mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So those others who, who are interested in achieving a self-realization through control of mind and senses, right? Through control of mind and senses, through yagnas, right? Through yagna, through Ashtanga yoga, offer the functions of all senses and of life, right? Here the example of basically Ashtanga yoga is yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, right? One wants to pranayam, the life air, the prana, vayu, which is there, right? He wants to control their what they do as oblations into the fire of controlled mind. They are trying through his life, that pranayam is doing, pratyahara is doing, dharana is doing, dhyan is doing, his samadhi then he is leading to. So he's doing ashtanga yoga, hatha yoga, right? These are the things which are, which he tries to do, and ultimate, tries to have self-realization, Brahman self-realization, right? Might yet he tries to cultivate, but that is a difficult task in the Kali Yuga, right? That is a difficult task because one is engaged, one is engaged in this, life activity. Also, the material activities also is there. He has to earn something also. So that is a tough task in this, because he has to leave everything and then go. Because a little bit of doing that will not, will not suffice. One will not end up, ultimately self-realization, right? But in the bhakti, it's not like that. Whatever little progress we do, whatever little progress you do, we start from the next from that part only. So then there is a benefit in the bhakti yoga, but not so like in a other yoga system, right? What happens, you have to start again from the zero also, right? So again, we need to do that. So in the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali, the soul is called Pratyagatma and Paragatma. As long as soul is attached to sense enjoyment, it is called Paragatma, right? When sense enjoyment means body, right? Soul attached from the sense enjoyment is called Pratyagatma. The Patanjali system of yoga instructs how to control the functions of the body's air, right? Pranavayu. So that ultimately favorable for purifying the soul of material attachment, right? The Pranavayu is controlled, the breathing activity is controlled, in this Patanjali system. According to this yoga system, Pratyagatma, right, is the ultimate goal, right? Detaching from the sense enjoyment. Soul is detached from the body, right? This is Pratyagatma is withdrawn from activities in matter, right? Totally stopped, right? There are some Vipassana centers. What they do in Vipassana centers, they say that, okay, stop bringing, the mobile is switched off. Then, on the whole sattvic food is taken. Then, again, sattvic food is taken. Then again, disciplined life is being done. It feels very good, but it is not, one doesn't practice in the home. So you go to the center, you For the 1 month it's good, for the 10 days it's good, then you stop it. Then what is the use of it? Ultimately the ultimate goal has not been achieved, right? If the discipline is controlled, but in Krishna consciousness it's not like that. You do your activity, you wake up, for the, for the morning program, you go to the Mangala Aarti, then you do the meditation, then you go to the work, or college, or then again you are involved in the Krishna conscious activity, you sleep for the Krishna consciousness. So your whole day is regulated already, your whole day is regulated, and you can follow it practically. It's not like you have to do it for 10 days to go to some center and then it will be achieved, right? It's not like that. So it's, it is very necessary that what we are, it should be practical, it should be daily applicable, right? It should be applicable daily, right? For a military person, right? If he has done training, whatever discipline he has followed in the training life, he will follow throughout his life. He will follow throughout his life. Whatever discipline he has done in training life, he will throughout. That is the practical thing. That is a practical thing. His whole life is now disciplined as per his, as per the norms stated by the military persons, right? So that is, that is good. So the senses interact with the sense objects, like the ear for hearing, eyes for seeing, nose for smelling, tongue for tasting, hand for touching, and all of them are thus engaged in activities outside the self, right? This is in Patanjali. They are all called the functions of pranamayu, and enlightenment is engaging in this knowledge in searching of self-relation. So they know this, okay, self-relation is the necessary. द्रव्य यज्ञास्तपो यज्ञ योग यज्ञस्तथा परे स्वाध्याय ज्ञान यज्ञश्च यथा यसंशित व्रताः. Hare Krishna. Translation.
Hare, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, and they are basically following strict laws. They are having discipline. Some become entitled by, enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, right? And others by performing severe austerities. Some have possessions, they sacrifice it. They leave their home, they go there. Some what they do some severe austerity, some severe tapasya is there by practicing of yoga of eightfold mysticism, right? Ashtanga yoga, or by studying the Vedas. Some philosophical speculation he wants to do to advance in transcendental knowledge. So this is the part of the yagnas or sacrifice they do. So some persons sacrifice some possessions, right? Example, there are various in the forms of kinds of various charities, right? There is dharmashala is there, anna kshetra is there, then there is atiti shala, then anathalaya, then vidyapita. They basically go and reside there. Hospitals, old age homes, similar charitable foundations meant for distributing food, right? There are various institutions, they distribute food, right? They go there, right? So various charities providing education, medical treatment free to the poor, right? This is they can do. Their charitable activities are called dharma yagna. For higher elevation, higher planets, austerities, Chandrayana and Chaturmasya, right? For basically want to higher planets, do this Chandrayana, Chaturmasya kind of activities can be done, right? But ultimately coming now, include severe vows for conducting life under certain rigid rules, right? Certain vows that you are doing some kriya yoga, then there is a very strict vow that you will speak only truth, right? Then only your guru will give you some siddhi. So only truthful needs to be there. So various things are there in that. For example, in Chaturmasya vow, the candidate does not shave for 4 months during the year July to October. He does not eat certain foods, does not eat twice in a day, or does not leave home. Such sacrifice of the comforts of life is called tapomaya yagna. Chandrayana vow on the 12th day of the lunar fortnight, etc., which foster capability, Dwadashi basically, right? Which foster capability for performing acts pleasing to Lord. Uprightness consists of the oneness of the thought, word, and deed in one's dealings with others, right? Right, basically when doing the karma, the kanti mala, the Krishna consciousness, what is there, three rounds of kanti mala is there, right? So basically it signifies, the significance of it is that you are serving Lord Krishna with your word, with your deed, and with your thought, man and your vani and your karma. Man, vani, and karma. By that you are serving Krishna consciousness. That is basically reflecting the 3 rounds of kantimala, which you get after the that's doing the diksha. So this is significance of the 3 rounds of mana, right? So one is oneness in the thought, word, and deed in one's dealing with others, right? This is done in the this is significance of the 3 rounds of mana. So some engage themselves in the different kinds of mystic yoga, Hatha yoga, right? Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga. Some travel to pilgrimage, some doing different Vedic literature. They do some read Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Swadhyaya, Yagna, Sankhya philosophy, engagement of various sacrifice studies, right? All these yogis are faithfully engaged in different types of sacrifice and are seeking a higher status of life. They are basically on some higher status, right? They know that this is, four places of misery, or it is not enough, right? Whatever the case is, too hard is there. This is Kali Yuga, too hard it is there. So they want some higher status of life. Don't so much misery is not there, right? So Krishna conscious, the direct service of the Supreme Lord, right? We are directly serving to the deity of the, Lord, right? So it is the direct, direct incarnation of the Lord, Satchidanand Vigraha only, right? So Krishna conscious cannot be attained by any one of the above mentioned types of sacrifice, but can be attained only by the mercy of the Lord, right? If there is mercy of the Lord, if He is pleased, then only one will attain. So in Bhakti Yoga, what we do, we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra just to seek the blessing, just to seek the mercy of the Lord, that you bless us with your service. That's it. We are not into Karma Yoga. We are not into Dhyana Yoga. We are not doing Karma so that it, we are not into totally into Karma Yoga part, right? By the karma he will be happy. No, that is, all the truti are there, all the, all the, all the some mistakes are being done by us only every time. Some aparadh is being done because we cannot see Krishna, right? So some aparadh is being done. So karma, karma is not fully, for it is not fulfillment for the Krishna. We cannot do dhyana yoga because a lot of engagement, right? Because we cannot leave everything, so dhyana yoga is also not for us, right? We are just into Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga, the process is easy. That okay, you chant only Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but the attainment, the goal, it becomes this vehicle. So it is not for the unintelligent person. It is rather for the intelligent person, right? Who knows that okay, the practicality of this thing is easy, but we are, but we are taking just the, just, having depending the having faith on the Lord, that yes, He is the supreme personality of Godhead, and He always wants, on benefit, He is Suhadam Sarvabhutanam. He is the only true friend, right? He is a benefactor of us, right? He is the he is the caretaker. He is the basically the friend of us, right? So he wants his only wishes best for us. So he will take care. By that mercy only we will get. So we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and we seek his blessings, that give us some devotional service, right? Please be merciful on us and make us, your eternal servitor, take us back to your home, right? Take us back to your home, right? So that is our bhava, right? That is our bhava, to take the mercy of the Lord in chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If we are doing this, so that is, we are becoming Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is transcendental, right? So some person sacrifice their possessions in the form of various kinds of charities, right? Some, this, okay, this we done that. Okay, it's repeated. Okay, 4.29. अपाने जुवाति प्राणं प्राणपानं तथा परे प्राणपानगतिरुत्वा प्राणायामपरायणः अपरे नियतरः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति. हरे कृष्ण. Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, here Krishna is describing basically, how the breath restraint. Some part of yoga I have done some this Kriya yoga also. And what used to happen, then that you take some breathe, and then you stop breathing, you stop breathing, and concentrate on between your eyebrows, and to the supreme personality, and and then some void or some effulgence or in the between your eyebrows basically. And then you stop breathing and you to think at whatever part of time you can without breathing you can remain. So basically we're trying to achieve some trance, and then outgoing, then you leave the breath. So this is the part of some Hatha Yoga part or Kriya Yoga part, or Ashtanga Yoga part, right? So this is the pran vayu, the controlling your breath, right? offering the movement, outgoing practice by offering the movement of outgoing breath into the incoming, right? And incoming breath to no outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, right? So one want to achieve basically trance in this life itself, it's basically, certain rigid principles are there, and then, you do all that. Others are curtailing the eating process, right? Some stop the eating process and after offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice, right? So these are, various processes are there, so which is explained by Krishna. So okay, we will end today here. Okay, this is breathing process is called pranayam. Okay, pranayam is the part of Ashtanga Yoga part only. All of these processes are recommended for controlling senses and for advancement and spiritual realization. Right. Okay, we will start on this 4.30 tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Any doubts on today's class? Any questions on today's class? Anything add? Anything anyone wants to add on today's class? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, how do we define liberation?
Liberation Mataji, there are 5 types of liberation Mataji. Mukti is basically, firstly, direct answer to that is, you get rid of the fourfold miseries Mataji. That is a direct answer to the liberation. Then there are 5 kinds of liberation. Sayujya is there, getting merged into the Brahma Jyoti that is being done by the impersonalists. Next 4 are basically, they are not wanting, the devotees are not wanting, but due to having some desire, they end up there. Sarupya is, having the same features as the Lord Vishnu. Samipya is, getting near to the Lord, serving near to the Lord Vishnu's. And then Sarishti is there, is having the same strength as the Lord Vishnu. And there is Salukya residing in the same place as the Lord Vishnu. So that is, there are 5 kinds of liberation are there, Mataji.
Prabhuji, but what about the yogis who attain liberation while remain in this material world? What kind of liberation is that,
They are
Prabhuji?
into trance, Mataji, but they liberation is ultimately getting out of this world only, Mataji. They get out of this world and they go into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti refulgence, Mataji. That is their state, Mataji. Jogi is basically, from the head, they want, what are they basically trying, Mataji? From the pran vayu, they are trying to control the breath and ultimately trying to leave the soul from the head part, right? From the head, if someone leaves, the soul, they are liberated basically. So that they by the will they do that, not, they practice it, and by the will they can, they know that okay, at this point of time I will leave my, remember, this is the best time, this is a great nakshatra, and they will leave, they will leave their body whenever they want. So that is the practice they do on that Ashtanga yogi.
And Prabhuji, attaining transcendental knowledge, becomes
Transcendental
the
knowledge
key.
is Matari, Gyan Yoga. For example, when incarnation of the Lord Buddha has came, they attained through the Gyan Yoga by mental speculation of the philosophical, by first attaining the knowledge, and by, on that knowledge, you keep on contemplating on that knowledge, do mental speculation on that, and then by that knowledge, you will know, by that knowledge itself, you will know that, no, there is God, and there is God, there is Brahman, that they will go into the Brahman effulgence only. Ultimately, one has to do bhakti at the end. Because if one does not know that there is, Supreme Personality Godhead, he will not go there because the soul will not have desire to go there, right? So if the soul has no desire to serve the Lord, then if you have the knowledge, but if you don't have the knowledge of the Supreme Personality Godhead, then what is there? Because you are also getting knowledge, right, Matari? We are also getting knowledge. We are all getting knowledge that yes, there is Supreme Personality Godhead. Not what now, what we will do, we will use that knowledge to cultivate our Krishna consciousness, not the Brahman effulgence, right? For the because Lord Buddha's disciples are not considered as devotees of Vaishnavas, because they don't consider Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? That's why they are not considered as the Vaishnavas, because they only know that okay, after that there is only void, shunya is there. So that knowledge will not lead to the desire of serving the Lord, right? So they will end up in Brahma Jyoti refulgence only, void itself. Ultimately, the yoga ladder we discussed also, it from this karma yoga, and starts ultimately come to the Ashtanga Yoga, the Gyan Yoga. Then ultimately one has to go to the Bhakti Yoga only. Then only he will reach Supreme Personality Godhead, right? Unless and until whatever the process is, ultimately one has to come to the Bhakti Yoga part. For example, we have done in the previous life some Dhyan Yoga, Gyan Yoga, but if we have not done Bhakti Yoga, then we will not go into the Supreme Personality Godhead. We need to serve him, right? Wherever we are, we need to serve him.
And lastly, Prabhuji, pure bhakti, does it start at Shuddha Sattva level or
Yes, Mataji. Firstly, one becomes Shuddha Sattva only, then only pure Bhakti will start, Mataji. Because
right,
goodness
Prabhuji.
also is binding. So, Sattva level mode of goodness is binding. And the pure goodness will, from there, the pure devotees basically one reaches. So, gradually, Mataji, this Krishna consciousness is so blissful, is so transcendental. All the siddhis, whatever we are talking now, it will automatically come. It is automatically imbibed in that. Just because, Srila Prabhupada does not tell, because, anything mantra is there, all this mantra have the power. And this is the supreme mantra, anything, but with devotees view, because karmis will come then. But Krishna consciousness is not for karmis. It is for serving the supreme personality of Godhead, right?
Right, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Any other questions? Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll end here. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णवन की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण एवरीवन थैंक यू we'll okay tomorrow I guess I will put in the group is the class because Mondays there won't be classes but if there is any then we'll put in the group if there is not then Mondays won't be there any classes Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The quiz that we have to do for L2.
Mataji, you go on the site, Mataji. Get yourself. If you are created in the 11 one, the same site is there. Level 2 multiple choice questions. You do the quiz, Mataji. Directly you can start.
Okay. Prabhuji, can you please put the link if it is there?
Okay.
I don't know where
Okay,
I have.
Mataji. I will
Thank
put
you.
the link in
Thank
the
you,
group.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.